Your brain is actively destroying your ability to sleep deeply. And it started happening the moment you turned 50. But here is what nobody tells you: this is not inevitable decline. It is a biological shift you can actually reverse. Here is what your doctor probably never explained. After 50, your brain undergoes a fundamental rewiring of its sleep architecture. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, your internal master clock, actually shrinks. This tiny region controls everything about when you feel tired and when you wake. As it gets smaller, the signals it sends become weaker and less precise. This is why you might fall asleep at 8 p.m. but find yourself wide awake at 3 a.m. But here is where it gets fascinating. Researchers at Stanford discovered something that changes everything we thought about aging and sleep. The shrinking itself is not the problem. The problem is how we respond to it. And that response? It might be making everything worse. Let me put this in perspective. When you were 30, your body produced melatonin in a predictable wave. It surged around 9 p.m., peaked at midnight, and gently declined toward morning. Beautiful, reliable, automatic. Now, that wave has flattened. Your pineal gland still produces melatonin, but the peak comes earlier and the total amount drops by nearly 50%. This is not disease. This is biology. But most people fight against it instead of working with it. They force themselves to stay awake until 10 or 11 p.m. because that is what they have always done. They drink coffee in the afternoon because they feel sluggish. They use bright screens right before bed. Each of these choices amplifies the problem. If this is starting to make sense, hit that like button. What comes next explains exactly why these habits backfire. Now here is where it gets strange. Your body temperature plays a massive role in sleep quality. And after 50, something shifts dramatically. Core body temperature needs to drop by about 1 degree Fahrenheit to initiate deep sleep. In younger bodies, this happens automatically starting around 8 p.m. But research from the University of Pittsburgh found that this temperature drop becomes delayed and less pronounced as we age. Think about that for a second. Your body is literally running hotter when it should be cooling down. This is why many people over 50 report feeling too warm at night, kicking off blankets, waking up sweating. It is not random discomfort. It is a thermoregulation problem with a specific cause. And this connects directly to something called slow-wave sleep, the most restorative phase. But that is not even the concerning part. Slow-wave sleep is where your body does its deepest repair work. Tissue regeneration, immune function, memory consolidation. This is the gold standard of restorative rest. And here is the brutal truth. By age 60, most people have lost nearly 70% of the slow-wave sleep they had at 25. 70%. But wait. This is not a gradual decline that starts at 60. The steepest drop happens between 50 and 60. Right now. For many of you watching, this is the critical decade. The choices you make about sleep in these years can determine your cognitive health, your energy levels, your disease resistance for the next 30 years. What would you do differently if you knew your brain was rewiring itself right now? The answer to that question comes down to understanding one surprising mechanism that controls everything. But here is what changes everything. And I need you to really hear this. The biological shifts I just described? They are not the main reason your sleep suffers. They are the trigger. The real damage comes from what researchers call sleep effort. It is the anxiety you feel about not sleeping, the clock watching, the desperate attempts to fall back asleep, the worry about how tired you will feel tomorrow. This psychological layer amplifies every biological change tenfold. A 2023 study from Oxford found that sleep effort accounts for more sleep disruption in adults over 50 than all the biological changes combined. Read that again. Your worry about sleep is worse than the actual aging process. If you want to see how this unfolds and what you can do about it, make sure you are subscribed. Because the solution is counterintuitive and almost nobody teaches it correctly. The standard advice fails because it treats sleep like a math problem. Get 8 hours. Go to bed at the same time. Create the perfect dark room. These are not wrong, but they miss the point entirely. Your body after 50 needs a completely different approach. First, timing matters more than duration. The research shows that sleeping in alignment with your shifted circadian rhythm produces far better results than forcing 8 hours at the wrong time. If your body wants to sleep from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., that might be perfect for you now. Fighting it creates cortisol spikes that fragment whatever sleep you do get. Second, temperature intervention works. A warm bath 90 minutes before bed actually causes your core temperature to drop faster afterward. This simple trick can increase slow-wave sleep by up to 36%. Did you see this coming? Tell me in the comments what you have tried. Here is the revelation that ties everything together. Remember the sleep effort problem from earlier? The anxiety that amplifies biological changes? There is a technique called paradoxical intention that directly addresses it. Instead of trying to fall asleep, you try to stay awake. Calmly, quietly, with your eyes closed. No screens, no activity. Just gently resisting sleep. And this is the counterintuitive truth. When you stop efforting towards sleep, your nervous system relaxes. Cortisol drops. Body temperature follows. And sleep comes naturally. A 2022 meta-analysis found paradoxical intention reduces time to fall asleep by an average of 42% in adults over 50. More effective than most sleep medications without any side effects. Your brain after 50 is not broken. It is simply asking you to stop fighting and start listening. So here is your path forward. Work with your biology, not against it. Honor your shifted circadian rhythm even if it means earlier bedtimes. Use temperature strategically with that warm bath 90 minutes before sleep. Most importantly, release the effort around sleep. The anxiety, the clock watching, the desperate attempts. Let them go. Your sleep after 50 is different. But different does not mean worse. It means adapted. Your body has spent decades learning how to rest efficiently. The question is whether you will let it. This information is not commonly taught because it contradicts the one-size-fits-all approach that dominates sleep advice. But now you know better. Your next steps matter. Start with one change tonight. Notice what happens when you stop fighting your own biology. The science is clear. Sleep changes after 50 are real, biological, and manageable. Your suprachiasmatic nucleus may be smaller, your melatonin wave flatter, your temperature regulation shifted. But these changes respond to intelligent intervention. The research on paradoxical intention, on circadian alignment, on strategic temperature management proves that restorative sleep remains absolutely possible. You are not declining. You are adapting. An adaptation, when properly understood, becomes an advantage. The decades ahead can be your most well-rested yet. Not because you fought against your changing biology, but because you finally learned to work with it. Everything you just learned opens the door. Walking through it is up to you. Now you understand why your sleep changed and exactly how to work with it. If this helped you see sleep differently, subscribe to this channel for more science-backed wellness insights. Leave a comment telling me what time you naturally wake up now. That single detail tells me what topics to cover next.